tried to get out, and the time was now.
Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sitting Down with Stand-Ups. I am your co-host, Justin Sakarica. The Bean behind the scene, Daryl Bean, is missing today. No, he is in Ontario right now with his girlfriend, Daryl. I hope you have an amazing trip. I'm also playing the tech guy today, so this ought to be a lot of fun. But no worries, we will make things work. Sitting over to my left is my dear friend and co-host, Steve Deviney. Steve, how the hell are you, man?
What's going on, man? I'm good, chilling, a little stressed out, just, dealing with the house, just put it up for sale, so I'm trying to scale back on everything that I'm doing, all the other projects, and focus on that so I can get rid of the house and get out of here.
Get on out to LA, huh?
Yeah.
California dreaming. So, yeah, so if you guys don't know, this will probably be Steve's last episode for a while, but when he is in town, he will be visiting, and he is always welcome here because he's the fucking man. So, that's good news, man. Yeah, I had my first show back at Bearded Lamb Brewing Company last night. Fantastic show. Diego Adonacio, Jason Jamerson, and Nick Kelly stopped by for a guest spot as well.
Oh, cool.
Killed it. You know, it was a great time as always.
Was that Friday or that was last night?
Yeah,
Okay, so
last night. And I tried out some new material that went well, and I actually thought of it on the way to the brewery. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try. And you know, it hit pretty well. Still need to work the kinks out a little bit. It's about how the disappointment of going to the ice cream truck as a child prepares you for the disappointment of online dating, you know? Like, you see a picture of something that you really want, you know, and then reality hits you. It's
catfish?
not really catfish, but it's more like, you know, it's misshapen and one of the eyes is off center, like, you know, a fucking Mario ice cream bar. And but at the end of the day, you're like, fuck it, I'm going to eat you anyway, so. Hey, there you go. Cunnilingus jokes, we got them.
Oh, yeah.
You asked for them, we got them. So, but it was a great show, man. I'm really glad to be back doing comedy again. And actually, this morning, I got booked on another show as well. So yeah, it's that time of year, man.
Where at?
So I'm actually gonna be doing Bolero.
Bolero.
Yep, Bolero. I'm probably saying it wrong.
Yeah, I could be saying it wrong. So
yeah.
Either way, we know it's the Gillerans.
Yeah, the Gillerans. Yeah, the power couple of the Detroit comedy scene here. But they're very nice people. I love Jason and Robin. They're awesome. So yeah, man. What about you? Have you performed at all lately, or?
I've actually have not been doing too much. I did Friday at the Rusted Nail.
Oh, okay.
I did the Rusted Nail comedy, the Mega Bussin' comedy show.
Mega Bussin'? What the hell's that?
It's Charles Hill's show. It was hilarious. It was just a little comedy competition.
Gotcha.
It was basically just like a little showcase, and whoever had the best set of the night got a little cash and money. So it was cool. It was my first time I'd ever been there, and they've been doing comedy there for years and years and years, and I lived right down. I lived 3 minutes from that place for years.
And you had no idea?
I knew they were doing it. For whatever reason, I just was either too busy, or I think I was, like, during that whole time, I was really stressed out. Like, I had way too much. I had my mom living with me. Mm-hmm. I was taking care of everything at the house, at their house, dealing with their estate and all that. So it just wasn't the right time. But it was cool to finally stop in there. It's a nice room. Everyone seemed really cool. All the locals were there. They were all seemed really cool. They were there for comedy. So, yeah, it was a good time. And that's it. And so the only thing besides selling the house, I'm doing the 13th through the 15th featuring for Brian Scalaro.
Oh, nice, man.
One Night Stands, and that's it. Like, anything else I'm putting on hold until
due
house
to the
is
movie.
sold,
Yeah, because
I am settled into the new place because I just can't take on anymore.
No, I mean that's obviously, like, when you're going through something like that, I think it's the norm to put something off for a while until you get settled in.
To do.
Yeah,
you should,
And speaking of the norm,
bananas.
Oh man, yeah. Well, trust me, we'll talk about that. Johnny Bananas has a new story here. But speaking of the norm, we have one of, if not the premier Michigan-based comic with us here today. This guy is absolutely hilarious. He is a master at storytelling. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the set, Norm Stulz. Norm, get on in here, man.
Hey, how's it going, Justin? Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy?
Hey,
good to see you.
So nice to have you here, man. Have a seat.
Nice. Oh, yeah, this is nice.
Oh, yeah, nice filthy basement.
Nice and flat. Yeah, it's nice. Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Absolutely, man. I'm so glad that you came here today to sit down and talk comedy, man. And I mean, I've been wanting to sit down and talk to you for a very long time because I love good comedy storytelling, and that is your bread and butter.
Yeah.
Now, like, is that something that you just kind of had naturally, or did you work at it for years to try and become like?
No, it was natural. It was the way I told funny stories. It was just. And my friends years ago had a friend, Jerry Elliott, who's now in Columbus, Ohio, in radio. He said, "Who would steal your material? It's 20 minutes of nothing, and then no punchline." Yeah, but I became. It was a storyteller when I first went to Mark Ridley's. It was in 1981. I was doing music poorly, but singing songs with another guy. You know, and we were doing 90 songs a night. Because they were all 3.5 minutes. So it's like, cigarette, hey, shot of Jack, hey, you know, it was terrible. And so in between songs, to stretch, I would start telling stories about maybe what happened that day or, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it started getting laughs. And then it got to the point where I actually had a band. And I would walk out and sing a real song. I never did song parodies, but I would sing a real song. And then, you know, go right from Bob Seger song into something. You know, if it was Turn the Page or Being on the Road, then I would do a road story and stuff like that in between. And someone came up in late 1980, and 1980, man, that was like, what, 150 years ago, but a long time ago, and they said, you should try the Comedy Castle. And so I did.
And that was like a year after the Comedy Castle opened, right?
Yeah, I think it was started really in 78 or 9. I don't remember exactly. I know I wasn't the first guy there. Lowell Sanders I met right away. And when I went to the club, it was on Woodward below a Greek restaurant. I called and said, I'd like to, you know, I want to know about your club. And the nice lady said, do you want a slot? Well, I didn't know what a slot was. And I said, sure. She goes, okay, call me Monday. So I called her Monday, and she said, you go on tonight at, you know, 10:45 or something, you get 10 minutes. Right. And I said, where are you located? She goes, you don't even know where we're at? I go, no, I have no idea. So I went, and going down the steps, it was one of those, just like coming down here, you go down the steps, there's a sign, comedy $3. So I get my $3 out, and I give it to the door guy. The guy's name was Green, actually, not Mike, but a different Green. And I said, I'm supposed to do some time. And he goes, oh, then you don't have to pay. And he gave me my $3 back. And I'm thinking, I've already made $3 in comedy.
Oh, yeah.
I am
the big
killing
bucks. He's making the big bucks. Yeah.
Wow. And I went, and then he goes, the comics are in the back. And Tim Lilly was there. You mentioned Tim Lilly in one of our conversations earlier. But Tim and the famous Tim was there. I mean, he had just started headlining small clubs when I met Tim. We would drive around with Mr. Allen. You know, he did a show for General Motors, and they gave him a Cadillac, and it was the first car I ever saw with a phone in the console, and that's what we laughed about. And we would drive around and do open mics, and we opened B's Comedy Kitchen in Detroit. Right. Yeah, so there's a ton of memories that go down. But hey, I went down and I did my little 10 minutes, and I called the next week and they gave me another slot, and I did my 10. But this time when I went down, I didn't even get my $3 out. You know what I'm talking about? I'm a comic.
Right.
Okay. I'm a professional comic. I've already made $3, and I didn't put $10.99. I didn't pay taxes. So I owe you 30 cents, Joe. But anyhow, I go down there and I do my other set, and now the next week, my third week, feeling pretty confident, go down the steps, and there's a new guy at the door, and I'm like, damn it. You know, I don't know if this other guy was just slipping me the money back. I don't know the rules, you know. And I go, hey, I'm Norm Stulz. I'm supposed to do some time. And he goes, oh, I heard of you. You're a storyteller. I go, are you new here? He goes, I'm Mark Ridley. I've been on vacation for 2 weeks.
Oh, damn.
So what I did, the very first time I met Mr. Ridley, I asked him if he was a new guy. Apparently he wasn't. He
is the guy. Yeah, he is the guy.
You have his cigar box there with his.
He was the guy. But man, it was a lot of fun and a lot of years there. Nice. And I worked out about 6 or 7 months at the club, and he offered me a spot, and it was $25 for the 15 minutes or whatever it was. Sure. But that was back when gas was 83 cents a gallon and $25.
The good old days.
I would go every week, and that $100 was my groceries for the week for my family.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean that was obviously a long time ago, but and then it just got better. People kept asking if I would work for them.
Well,
so it's been great. That was my humble beginning, is going down to Ridley's and asking if Mark was a new guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have those moments where it's like you don't know who somebody is, and you're like, I am the comedian. I got paid $3. Yeah. Like, I own the fucking joint, pal.
Now and I'm terrible with names. So I'll be traveling around wherever I go. People come up, hey Norm, how's it going? Hey, and you become very LA. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Hey bud, looking good.
Oh, thank you very much.
I had no idea who they are. Right. And when my wife Sharon is with me, if we're out in a market or we're someplace and people come up going, hey Norm, I saw you at so and so at Snappers or wherever, Palm Harbor, Florida. I don't know wherever I'm at, and Sharon will immediately realize if I know who it is, and she will just go away. So I don't have to go, hey, this is my wife Sharon, you yeah, Chuck, we worked for 3 weeks, remember her? Like, no, I don't.
Wow.
I'm elderly. That's what I'm using now. That's what I'm using now. I'm too old, I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't wait till I get old, and that's going to be my excuse for everything. I'm thinking maybe in 2
best.
more years when I turn 40, like, I'm 40 years old, fuck it, I'm old, 40
ain't nothing. 40 is, all your shit still works at 40. Man. It's like,
I am, you don't know about that.
Yeah, the knees and everything goes. Hey, when I get up now, I sound like my grandfather used to. I'm like, what the hell was that?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so we can talk about getting old. It doesn't matter. I like just not being dead, personally. I'm more of a guy that...
You gotta appreciate that.
My favorite Norm Macdonald quote was, when I die, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my body to science or something to do. Mostly scientists that are trying to bring dead guys back to life. That's exactly
Norm was great, man. He was fantastic. Great. Yeah, I loved his no holds barred approach. He just said whatever the fuck he wanted, and he would find his audience. You know, right, he wasn't trying to please the masses. He would just say, hey, you know what? Here's my joke.
Here's my shit. If you like it, fine. If not, go find somebody else.
Exactly.
And I'll help you here all week.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, tell your friends that you don't like to come and see me. I don't care.
Absolutely, man. Did you ever get a chance to meet Norm at all? Or?
I didn't meet Norm Macdonald. No.
Oh.
I know a lot of famous humans, and fame is not easy. When you meet somebody, when you have a friend that becomes really, really famous, you can see how their life is really bad. I remember seeing Tim Allen at Ridley's at the current place a number of years ago, and there's a crowd, and he's in the middle, and I walked over, and I waved, he comes over, I go, Mr. Allen. He goes, fuck you, Norm. I go, when was the last time you had 3 minutes to yourself? He said, about 8 years ago.
Jesus, man, yeah.
So, talking about going to play golf and having golf carts come from every direction just to,
hover around,
in
your orbit,
or go to a football game and just sign autographs.
Oh,
I asked
him.
Yeah. He said, and again, I'll get off the, who's who. I'll talk about me, but to go, just to go in to get your camera fixed or something, and 10 minutes later, it's packed with people that just want you to sign.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine
and
that.
And if you don't sign it, then there's a video of you being a dick on, TikTok and What's My Ass and whatever else is out there. Well, so anyhow, I never wanted to be famous. I'm internationally unknown.
Internationally unknown. That's perfect. That should be the tagline of your next comedy tour. Internationally unknown.
I'm on the Not Dead Yet tour right now.
Nice.
Well, I was diagnosed a little over a year ago with stage 4 esophageal inoperable cancer with liver metastases, and the 5-year survival rate is 4%. So 96% of the patients with this diagnosis die in 5 years.
Jesus.
So I got 1 down and 4 to go, and I'm going to live every minute of every fucking week.
Hell yeah, man. That is what you
okay.
got to do.
And if I do it wrong, fuck it, it's my way.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's incredible, though, man. I'm so glad that you're fighting this and that you're going to keep on,
keep
on going, man. You can't give up.
I just started getting back on stage, as you guys did. I took a year off. I had to cancel a whole year because with chemo, you just don't know how you're going to feel or when that feeling's going to come back. You can try and control it with, I use yoga, and I'm a believer in the power of the placebo, right? Give you a shot of water, and it will actually take away the pain from your surgery for 4 or 5 hours. So I know that our brain can do more for our physiology, for our body.
Yeah. Mind over matter.
Mind over matter, or I don't mind, it don't matter. But with that, I had to take a whole year off, and it was so nice because I had feedback from all over the country, and not just friends, but theater owners who DM me, and the sound crew, the sound tech at a theater, and another place the light tech would, that comes from when you leave the theater, being friends with everybody that helped you put on that show.
Sure.
I was up there, doing my little pony show, but there were a number of people behind doing lighting and cameras and all the things that they do. And if you thank them, and when you get to a point where you make enough money to tip people, then you tip your light guys and your sound guys and the people that, and please tip your wait staff. It's not just to get them money, it's to let them know how much I appreciate the fact that they're there working.
Yes.
And when you work in a room like Mark Ridley's here in Detroit at the Comedy Castle, you can do a whole set and never realize that there was a server anywhere in the building because they're that trained and they're that good. And that's a sign of Mary and her management and everything that we know about that. But the best clubs, they have their staff, and you don't know when you're working. And a simple thing like, can we get a whole staff photo? And they all come up on stage and everybody's happy. Whether it's me or Saget or whoever.
Yeah.
I mean, how many dead guys do we have in the last year?
Oh, too many. Way too many.
In the last couple of years, they're dropping like flies. And yes, I'm on the runway. I know, fuckers. Okay.
No. It's a long runway, Norm. It's a long runway,
That's
man.
all I'm saying.
No.
Runway. I was in, let's see, Kramus put together a show. You know Kevin Kramus?
Yeah.
The famous Kramus. He put together a show a number of years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And it was down in Garden City where he promotes a lot and he raises a lot of money for that beautiful community. And so I'm in the back of the room and he goes up and another guy goes up and it's a full house. It's a nice stage, but it's backlit. And what I like to do is change the feel of the room by cut the backlit, just go with the spotlight. Okay, it changes the mood and it's just something that I like to do that changes the audience. It's like, oh, this is different, and then I go up and I'm allowed to do what I do. So I get up and I talk to the light guy. Can you do that? Yeah, no problem. So I go around and I go up the stage. And it's like a 5-step stage. Okay, it's a nice size stage, and the lights are down and the follow spot's on me, and I'm walking around pretend I know what I'm doing. But what I'm doing is trying to feel with my feet the edge of the stage. Where's this side? Where's that side? And so I walk out and I'm like, wow, this stage is a lot deeper than I thought it was. Well, what I didn't realize is it was a runway. And so I started doing a bit. I walked stage left, and my wife said, I went, no. Just disappeared under this truck. Because I'm little, and luckily when I fell with both feet and just kind of jarred me.
Yes.
And so I go around with with a cordless mic going, hey, I just want to see if you guys would catch me. Thanks a lot. Whatever it was, whatever the ad lib it was. Yeah, falling off stage is... that was once, and I got that off the list, like shit to do. Say something, are you pregnant to a woman that's not? No.
Yeah.
Well, you look pregnant, bitch. But anyhow, and I apologize to all my pregnant bitches out there. But
Pregnant bitches.
No, anybody. But it's like she had a high bodice or whatever this is called. She had a high rib, and she just looked pregnant. And she was down there, are you pregnant? No. Oh, God.
You're like, oops.
The guy next to her's like, and I probably won't get her that way tonight. Thanks. Anyhow, so I drifted off, like I always do.
But no, it's good. I mean, like, you can definitely tell that you are a natural storyteller. Like the way that you can capture the attention of the audience, and like that's something.
What's really.
I wish I had that. I really wish I had that ability to do that long form comedy. I'm trying because that's what I really think I could be good at. But it sucks when you're telling a joke and you can see like the eyes
glass over,
and you're like, maybe I should fall off stage. It'll get their attention. So. I'm gonna go do a switch real quick. So you guys keep talking technical shit. So
oh, there we go. We're talking shit. So what else, Stevie?
Hey man, shit. So I've got just a list of just some random questions.
Sure, pick a question.
What's like a favorite place to perform at?
Wow. I've been on some amazing stages, beautiful theaters. Nice. It had about 2,500 people.
Nice.
And I worked. I did it a few times. I did it a few years in a row. And the last time I did it, I went in front of Dave Landau. They wanted each to do 45 back to back, 45. Yeah. So we had a couple guys open up, and I'm out there working, and my buddy's backstage with Dave, and Dave's going back and forth, and he goes, "Hey, it's just Norm. It's what he does, And I'm on had a really good time. If you get in front of 2,500 people and you can't have a good time, you need to find something else to do because you're doing it wrong. But I went up and had a riot, and I walked out. I'll never forget. I walked off stage and I go, "Dave, they're hot." And he goes, "Fuck you, Norm." I said, "There's a trend with that." But of course, he went out and he's Dave Landau. He didn't have any problem.
Oh yeah, he's a professional. He's
I'm so proud of him and so happy for him. You know,
Yeah.
he's really taken off, and that Mud Club thing has done really well with him, with Crowder and stuff. So really happy for him. I'm happy for everybody.
Oh yeah, I mean, you want to be successful, you know, and you want to be good. So Dave, keep an eye out. Maybe I'll reach out to you to be on the show, please. But yeah, no, I mean, it's really cool to see when, you know, these comedians
They break out.
They break out, and I really do believe there are a lot of people in the scene right now who are just on the cusp. Like, they're so close to just breaking on through. Like, do you know anybody that you think is just like that close?
I really don't, because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been out of the Detroit scene now for at least 20 years. Yeah. Okay, I live in Houghton Lake. I fly out of Metro, but I don't hang out at the Comedy Castle.
Sure.
In fact, probably 15 years ago, or 15 years ago or so, I was doing a theater run, and I wanted to get all the dirty words. Okay, I wanted to change fuck to freak, or dick to hoo-ha, or whatever you have to do to make it cleaner.
Yeah.
To do, to get certain audiences that request that.
Right.
You know, if you get to a venue, they go, hey man, you don't, no F-bombs, and I don't want you to do this, and don't say that, or don't say this. And if you don't have the ability to make that happen,
right,
then you're not going to be as successful as you can be.
Sure.
If that's where you want to be, if you're happy there, stay there. I don't care what you do. You know, but for me, I wanted to get the fucks out of it. So I called Mark and I said, hey, I want to do open mic on Wednesday nights. And he goes, well, Norm, he goes, call in and give him your name. And anytime you call in, you will get a slot. I said, well, that's all I need, Mark. And so I called in and I gave her my name. And then she said, call back Saturday. And she gave me all the rules. You know, if you go long, you'll lose your spot. If you do this, the rules. You have to have rules.
Yeah.
So being a first time for her, I was a first time guy. I said, sure, whatever you want. So I listened. Watch for the light. Please don't go long. Be on time.
Yeah.
This show starts at 8 or whatever. Can you be here at 7:30? And I said, well, number one, I'm not going to be in the country Saturday, so I'm not calling you. But I will be there next Wednesday. I promise you. Two, I can't get there at 7:30 because I have a commitment. I'll see you about 9. And she goes, well, I don't know. I go, well, it'll be okay. Ask Mr. Ridley, blah, 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 whatever it was. Now, she executed her position perfectly. She did everything she was supposed to do. I can't hold anything against her. So I get there at, 8:45. I go backstage, and I go walking up the little ramp, and I don't remember who it was, but, our poor MC waiting for this numbnut Norm that he doesn't know to show up. Yeah. And he goes, are you the Norm guy? I go, yeah, I'm the Norm guy. He goes, well, there's one up here, and there's one more guy, then you go. And I'm going to give you a light. I said, okay, you do what you want to do. I apologize for being late, but I had a prior. I had a prior commitment.
Prior engagement.
I couldn't get out. Well, that happens. And so then, they went up, and now I was working on a 6-minute piece because I do long form comedy. My pieces are long. I used to open with a downhill ski bit, and my true fans will recognize this. And it was 18 minutes long. My first bit. Yeah, people would get up and go hit the head and come back and go, Jesus, we're still talking about skiing. And I cut out all the fat to get it down to 18 minutes.
Wow.
And I had to retire the entire bit because I kept saying, what can I cut out that's not funny? And the laughs kept rolling and rolling and rolling. I'm like, okay, I'm not. And then I just took the whole thing out, which freed up 20 more minutes and allowed me to put new stuff in there.
Sure.
But man, I forgot what the first question was. I did.
Something about skiing. I don't know. Cutting the
no, that was the end.
That was the end.
That was the end of it. But I'm, so long form and Ridley. So I'm going back. I went back the next time. I called and I said, it's Norm Stulz. And she goes, well, Mr. Stulz, I didn't know. First of all, it's Norm. And my name's Norm. And she goes, I didn't know who. I said, you did everything perfect. You don't have anything to worry about. Right. Okay, so I went to the same MC and he goes, I have one question. I go, what? He goes, will you go last? I said, of course. I'm not here to throw anybody off or fuck anybody up. I'm there because I need an audience to practice what I do.
Right,
I can think about it in the car, like you said, and I think of a million things in the car and where they would fit and how the flow would go because I take a deep breath and talk for an hour. My job is to take people out of their life, no matter what's going on, whether they're trying to sell their house or an uncle died or you lost somebody or your cat died, whatever you're dealing with, completely take you out of that so you're in my world. Right. And I will dick around with you for about an hour, then I'm going to set you back down and go have fun. And most people, by far most, come up and go, man, that was exactly what I needed. And as I'm talking to a blue-haired old lady, behind her is an 18-year-old that says, "Man, we already Googled you, and can we get a pic?" and do all the other stuff. So if you can hit an audience, a differential of 80 years while you're doing it, and they realize that they kind of wake up, and they're like, "Whoa, that was amazing." I've tried to change some things. Like I wish there were times that I could do crowd work, but I either do my show or I do crowd work. Right. And I haven't found a way to transition between the two. Is that boring as fuck or what?
No. I mean, no, that's all very, no, I think that's very pertinent information, but, and again, I think it's fantastic that you bring up the fact that, as comedians, as entertainers, you can take somebody away from a horrible situation just for a little bit, to make them smile again, to make them happy, and to give them hope and say, hey, look, the world's not all thunderstorms and,
and
bad
hurricanes.
shit. And hurricanes, yeah, Ian, but... Yeah, I think it's great that as comedians we're able to do that, and for someone like you who has hours of material, I mean, there's probably a lot of people out there who you've really helped that maybe like you don't know how much of an impact you had on their life because they can look back and say, hey,
and every once in a while you'll get somebody that'll let you know that you've done what you've done for me. Yeah, and it only takes one, a couple of years to realize that you actually did make that a better day for them. Most of them will come out saying they had a great time.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I haven't had a shitty show in ages that the audience is aware of.
Right.
Now, getting back up after almost a year off, the very first thing I did was down at Genetti's, Bob Phillips and Sal D'Amelio invited me. I said I need to get some stage time, and they said, well, we have a sold-out show, and Mike Jeter headlined it. So I called Mike and I said, dude, I'm going to come and do 10 minutes, but I don't want to make you uncomfortable with that, okay? Because it's not fair if you're ready to go headline something and somebody stops in and steps on you. And he said, no, man, it's an honor. Come on out. So I did those 10, and they posted it, and they got some comments on it, and it just encouraged me. And then I did 25, and the audience had a blast, where in my mind, I missed this chunk, and this chunk, and all those holes, but the audience had no idea.
Sure.
But that, I have thrown an hour set that the audience thought it was perfect. My wife would go, man, that was great. I hated every minute of it.
Oh, man.
Those times where just your timings, you can't get your teeth to work, whatever it is, the audience still has a blast, but I just fucking hated every minute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to be a perfectionist at this, right? You got to make sure you're giving...
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, you want to make sure. I mean, even like one word can
Correct.
Throw the entire joke off, and you're like, fuck, I fucked it up. And then like at that point on, you feel like you've kind of shit the bed.
Well, first of all, you have to always reach back down and grab that energy and throw it back out. Get it back to the audience. Even though I'm pissed, I don't want them to know. And so if you're professional enough, you just go.
Yeah, right.
But you make a note. Your brain will go, let's figure out what we did wrong and how we can fix it.
Yeah.
And read your audience. If you're going to a bar gig that happens to be a fundraiser for a religious group, you don't do bar gig material.
Yeah.
Right.
Find out what the organization is. Whether you're, it could be a biker bar in a church. They want it dirty. Okay. I'm not afraid. It echoes a little bit, but no lightning so far.
Yeah.
But to each his own. But you got to read the audience and what part of when you start doing corporate. Okay, you give me your language parameter. Oh, it doesn't matter. No. Tell me what words that you think are dirty words that are acceptable. Well, we don't want you to use the F word. Okay, that's important.
Yes.
Because when you say do whatever you want. In my live show, there's some fucks in it.
Yeah.
And if you hire me, unless you specifically hire and pay me not to say fuck, it's going to be part of the show.
Yeah.
And it's not the crux of the joke, but it's the embellishment.
Sure.
It's the seasoning.
And there's not that many in my performance, but when they're there for a reason. Right. And I can leave it out and bump it with something else, but the way it works best is with an F-bomb.
Yeah. No, I totally feel you on that. It's crazy because there was one time I did a show with Keith Lennart. I'm sure that you know Keith.
Of course.
We did the Whitmore Lake Prom. Okay? It was and he told me anything goes. Cool. We get there the day of and they say you can't say this, you can't say that. And Keith's like, look, we'll compromise and we won't drop any F-bombs, but everything else has to, stay. And I think just to spite them a little bit, because I didn't say the F-bomb, I didn't say fuck during my set. When I introduced Keith and went up there, he goes, "Hey, give it up for Justin. Wasn't he fucking funny?"
Yeah, we started with it.
I was like, he's spiting him. He's fucking spiting him. But that was a weird show, man. A fucking prom. I've done some weird gigs.
I haven't done a prom. I did all three of my children, who are adults now, when they graduated from Holly High School, they asked me to perform. And I said, I will perform, but I'm not going in the gym with you guys dancing and dicking around, okay? It's not going to happen. I will perform 11 p.m. from 11 to midnight on your all-night is the comedy show in the auditorium. I set up 2 cameras, and we had monitors. And I had pre-recorded stuff that my son, who directed it, the younger one did it till he graduated, and the older one took over for him. But he would push the button, and I had some pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah.
I had a live band, and at the time, Madonna's first cousin was the Spanish teacher there, Miss Ciccone.
Ciccone.
So
Sounds sexy.
She had the big bullet bra and
The
stuff.
big Ciccones?
And we brought her out and talked about it. It was pretty interesting because she spoke about her, about her very famous family friend, family member. And then so I had a table set up, and then I would do live stuff. Also did costumes. I did, back then it was one of the shows, Meatloaf's I Will Do Anything for in costume, live band.
Wow.
Run right into yeah, it was great. So I have all these photos.
But I won't do that.
And each of my children absolutely love the fact that they did it.
Sure.
And I made a deal with my kids when they became 15. I said, when you pass driver's training, you can drive me to a show. So my oldest son, he fixed it, and we went down to Ridley's, and he drove me down to Woodward and blah, blah, blah. I got that experience, Expressway and all the other stuff. We were living in Holly at the time. And then my next son did it, and we went out to Battle Creek. There was a place in Battle Creek owned by Gary Fields, who ran comedy out of there for 30-some years. He's retired now, as are his rooms. And my daughter, she turned 15. She said, "Can I drive you to a show?" I said, "Yeah, I'm working at Chaplin's West, which is at 6 Mile and Telegraph." And did you ever have the pleasure?
No,
No.
that was on the list.
What an amazing venue! Yeah. And it was salt and pepper. It was mixed. It was black and white, and you could be, I could talk about being high yellow, and all the black people are laughing, the white people are like, "What are you talking about?" But I loved the room, and Maureen McGillrath ran the show for the Hargis boys. Anyhow, so my daughter says, "What should I wear?" And she's 15, little blonde girl. I said, "Well, I'm going to wear a suit." She goes, "Can I wear my little black dress?" I go, "Yeah." So she's 15, and it's a little black dress. Okay, so she's driving, and she got to drive again. Telegraph Square Lake, down Telegraph, loop around, and I said, it's valet parking. Just pull up and put it in park and leave the keys, and they'll take it. And at the time, the place sold out, and there were people lined up out the door and around. I said, "We don't have to wait in line. We can go." I said, "Just take my arm." So I've got this 15. At the time, I'm maybe in my 40s, late 30s, early 40s. I got this 15-year-old girl who just looks illegal, and
Jesus.
and so we're walking. We open the doors and we go past a whole bunch of people, and I swear to God, every single female went like this. And we go around the corner, and Maureen's there. She's the manager of the club. And I walk up and I go, "Good evening, Maureen." She goes, "Good evening, Norm." I said, "This is Sarah." "Good evening, Sarah. Welcome to Chaplin's." I said, "It's my daughter." She goes, "Thank you, you dumbass." She punched me. She goes, "What are you doing, little girl?" I'm like, "It's my daughter."
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that. Her face like freaked out, like, "Oh my God, what is it? It's Captain Pedophile."
It's fucking Woody Allen. Fucking Woody Allen over here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Woody Allen. Yeah. So that's another goofy story that happened in my life.
I'm sorry.
No, please continue.
So I've got this thing in my head for Chaplin's, because I never made it out to any of the locations. I live closer to
East?
live closer. Yeah, the Fountain Lane. View?
Fountain Lanes, I think.
Yeah, the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And so I used to love the commercials. I've loved comedy like my whole life, and I've always really. I always wanted to go down there. No one in my family was a fan of it at all, so I was never, I never had the opportunity to go down there or anything, and it closed before I even had a license. But I've always, every time, if I'm talking to Mark or I'm talking to Bill.
Any old guy.
Right. Any of the guys, even Joel. I think Joel had some experience with that too. So I'm always poking them give me more stories about that. Just tell me the layout. Tell me like what it smelled like, and they're like, I have this weird thing. I'm obsessed with old comedy clubs, like just the real candles on the tables, or the match packs that they would give out, like how it was.
And the fact that it was a high stage, and there was an audience here, and then there was one about stage level, and then there was a third deck.
Yeah.
Around to the sides. And it was just, man, when it was full, it was a blast. And then when it wasn't full, they seated it properly.
Yeah.
That's the difference with a good club and a club.
Sure.
I mean, if there's 30 people and there's 3 here and 7 there, it sucks.
Yeah,
it changes the energy.
Yeah.
But there, if it was a small crowd, and the small crowd for them was probably 50 or 60, so they would be packed in around.
Yeah.
But they always took very good care of me, and the shows were fun. Billy would, I don't know, he'd get a whoopee cushion and stand behind the curtain, and when the girl says good evening, that wasn't me, that was Billy. But he would walk up, he'd have a bag, and he'd walk towards me on stage like he was going to do something, then he'd turn right and go backstage.
Just fucking
with me.
See, that's hilarious, man. Like, I love that when people try and make, like, other people crack. I don't know what it is, man. Like, I just, like, sometimes if I'm on stage, because my friends have come to all my shows and they know all my jokes, and at this point...
They're lip-syncing.
Well, yeah, they're lip-syncing, but now my buddy will just kind of like sit there and make weird faces at me trying to get me to crack, and I'm like, you motherfucker, I know you're doing it. And the one time he almost got me, because... I don't know if, because we were talking about a little bit of wrestling earlier.
Okay, yeah.
There was the Undertaker's manager, Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
He would always sit and make these weird faces, like, ooh, and like...
That's how he would make them to you.
He's sitting there doing it, I'm like, why is he doing this right now? I'm like, I can't get my fucking, my attention straight, and other people in the audience are now, watching him make these faces, and I'm like, you fucking guy. But I love it, though. I love that kind of shit.
I had a buddy of mine sat right down front and center, and the set was not fun, and he'd go like this. He was playing Roberto Duran, who's an old one. He'd go like this. No mas. Fucking would cover up. No mas. Cover up. Oh my God.
But that's who who your good friends are the ones who fuck with you.
Oh yeah.
The ones who fuck with you are the best, because I mean, it's because you know what, we would do the same to them, right?
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, that's what I do with my closest friends.
Yeah.
So you can fucking push your buttons.
Sure.
Have fun.
Yeah. When we walk into restaurants, I go to the tables around us and go, I want to apologize. They're like, for what? We don't know yet. Just want you to know when stuff goes bad. We've already said I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're giving them a warning.
I was with a buddy, Kenny Shinsky, and he ordered a shrimp cocktail, and the shrimp are huge. They were just these big, beautiful shrimp. And when he takes a picture, he goes, this one's great. And it fucking took like... He goes running back to this lady, and it went 2 tables down over a lady's shoulder and hit her coleslaw and blew up. It was like a direct hit. It was like a drone hit. And he comes in, he goes to her coleslaw. He goes, "Hey, did you see a shrimp come in here?" He goes, "There he is." He goes, "Let me bring you a fresh one." He went back and brought the plate over and gave her one, and she was happy. But that's the kind of shit that happens when you have fun. Or if you've ever coughed up a potato ball and watched it hit a guy with a blue suit in the back and just... Oh my God.
See,
the good old days.
I need to go out to eat with you. This sounds fun as hell, man. Just going out causing chaos, man. My goodness. That's like some shit straight out of Blues Brothers.
It's been an amazing life. Is all I can say. It's been an amazing life.
I mean, that's
Met so many wonderful people. Worked with so many great entertainers.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a blast.
So
yes, sir.
Both of those. So I wanted to ask, what are some of the craziest comedy moment that you can think of?
Oh my, that's 1 in a billion, man. It's like, what was your favorite guest?
Sure.
Who knows?
Well, this is hard questions, man.
Mm-hmm. Hard-hitting questions on the show, man.
Well, it's just multiple choice out of a billion. I guess when I came off stage, Bob Seger used to come to Ridley's pretty regularly.
Oh wow!
And,
I see there's a picture of him on the wall.
When I first met Bob, I was in the office, sitting in a chair, and Gene Taylor, the late Gene Taylor, who was the entertainment director for WXYZ TV, and he also did some stand-up. He was hosting this particular show, and I'm sitting there, we're talking, and Gene looks up and he goes, "Hey Bob," this guy goes, "Hey Gene, what's up?" I goes, "Did you meet our headliner?" "Norm, this is Bob." I stand up. He goes, "It's Bob Seger." I go, "You don't have to tell me who the fuck it is."
Yeah.
But your mouth stops working. how you doing? And he goes, just don't recognize me from the stage. He goes, I just want to be Bob. My family's out there. And he would never go sit until the show started because the room would have to be dark, or else he became an autograph machine or whatever the fuck it was. But when I can remember coming off stage and walking by him, and he said, "Great set," and he kind of gave me a little high five, "Great set." And to this day, if I walk off stage and somebody gives me a high five, my brain goes back to Bob Seger.
Wow.
That's incredible.
And I know that's
yeah.
probably selfish, but you know what? It's amazing.
It was really cool.
That is,
For me.
Sure.
I mean, how many people do you know in the scene that have gotten a high five from Bob Seger?
Yeah,
one right there. Yeah, I know.
Probably not. But that was an exciting moment in the field of comedy. But then I get excited anytime I step on new boards. The first time I go onto a stage anywhere in the country, whether it's a theater or a pub or anything else, I have a feeling that this is an honor to step on that stage, and I'm going for it. And it just gives me that, I don't know, affirmation that I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, man. I did this. I worked a room recently in Canada, and it was. I felt like I had no business there because it was a theater and it was amazing. It was beautiful. The stage was brand new to where they have this. I don't know if this is a newer thing they're doing, but it had this like polyurethane cover on it to where it was like ergonomically better for your feet to be standing. It was really odd. They had a smoke going on, man, like a smoke machine. I was completely not used to this. It kind of threw me to be there, but that was a really that was an incredible moment. And so there's another thing. Now you mentioned Bob Seger as one of the highlights of working.
Yeah.
Now, how about working with someone like a comedy icon or comedy friend or anybody?
I've worked with a jillion people. Bob Saget got me my first national television.
Wow! So this is what
on the CBS morning show, and that was probably in '89, maybe. I have the letter that he sent me. Hey Norm, because that's how we communicate.
Sure.
He sent me a letter from CBS, and I've still got it in my pile of crap that I saved. I threw more stuff away, banners, and there would be giant Norm Stulz crap with my face, and I thought, man, I'll save this. And I went, nah, I see my face every morning. I don't need to see this. And when we downsized, I was like, let's go. And we got rid of it, but I don't know what we're talking about.
We were talking. I was trying to bring up just some, I guess, more celebrity type folks that you worked
different
with.
people? Yeah. I mean, I worked with a whole bunch of people, but I started headlining in '86.
Sure, that was a whole different world back then. Man.
Well, yeah. And then by '89, I headlined Ridley's. So once you reach that level, you don't work with your friends anymore.
Right.
I don't work with, when I was middling, I mean, it was, everybody that came through, either here or Lansing or wherever I was a middle for. And I didn't middle very much.
Yeah.
Because the guys didn't want me to middle.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, I worked with Christine Stedman, who's out of, I think, Missouri right now, but I had met her for lunch, and she goes, well, I got let go last week because I was working with so-and-so, and he said I was too dirty. I said, you know what it was? You were too funny.
Too good, right?
You were too funny.
Threatening.
Yeah.
Right.
You were making the headliner uncomfortable. And I tell all my middles, they're like, and when I was middling, I would go to whoever the headliner was and say, hey, are there any parameters you want me to stay away from? Is there anything that if I talked about weed or talked about kids, or tell me what parameters you need me to stay away from? And they're like, no, you do your show.
Okay.
And I would have people ask me, is there anything? I go, no. And don't hold back.
Yeah.
I would rather follow somebody that's extremely funny than to follow somebody that dug a hole 20 minutes deep that I've got to dig out of before I can even pop my head up and go, see, that's why you're paying money. Okay, and then you can do another, 30 or 40 after you've saved the day.
Right.
So that's part of it. But so that many celebrities I haven't done unless we did a roast or unless we did a fundraiser.
Okay.
I went out to Austin, Texas to raise money for a neck injury hospital, and Bill Engvall was there and Tim was there. I mean, there were high shooting, and Tim followed with Bill, and Tim was backstage going, God damn, why don't they just give him 6 shooters? Because he was,
killing it.
Engvall when he was in his prime, was amazing. I haven't seen Bill work in years.
Right.
You know.
Does he need to?
Yeah. Oh, no, he's still working. He's doing a last tour.
Well,
a lot of guys are doing last tours.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Ron, he's out there doing Ron White. He's doing. I think he's doing his last rounds as well.
Sure, I think they all are. I think Larry's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They want to be done.
Sure.
And when I was sick and I didn't work for a year, I'm thought, if I'm done, I'm done. Okay, it's okay. I've got all my stuff recorded. If I need to look back at bits when I'm old. Each of my children have seen me. My parents saw me.
That's
it's just an amazing, it's been as good as you can get.
Yeah.
And when the kids were young, when they weren't in school, we were all on the road. And my wife toured with me for the last 20 years.
Yeah, right.
So I was never alone.
Sure.
And if you get a good co-pilot, she can still drive at 80 miles an hour. and she makes sure I have underwear and shit. That's a bonus.
That's important.
Oh yeah, well I mean, it's like when we had Hacksaw on here, like his wife was like doing everything for him.
Yeah.
He just kind of came in and did his thing, and she's like, "We need to be here at this time. Here's your water. Can't have pizza. It's too much sodium. Boom,
No,
boom,
that's
boom.
that's exactly right. I'm living with my partner Sharon, that I met in the 7th grade. I was with my buddy Ken Shinsky, the same guy with the shrimp.
Oh,
threw the shrimp. Kenny, I was walking to his house, and there were 2 girls. And I said, "Who's that?" He goes, "Well, that's Patty Urson, and that's Sharon Shepard." And we talked, and as we walked away, I said, "I'm going to marry Sharon." And he said, "You are a dumbass." And we were both right. I married her, and I'm a dumbass. So I gave her a gold band in the 8th grade, 1963, and she wears it behind her diamonds.
Wow.
The very same ring.
That's really amazing.
We never broke up.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. So as you were saying about Hacksaw, with me, I would go on the road, and people would say, "Did you bring a bathing suit?" Like, "I don't know." And they're like, "What do you mean you don't know?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't pack. Sharon packs for me." "Do you let your wife pack for me?" I said, "Yeah." Trust me, the amount of things that I don't have when I get to a gig, if she packs, is way better than the amount of shit that I forgot. I didn't bring shoes. One time I brought a brown one and a black one for life. That's always good. I'm in a gig where I have to wear a suit, and I got Dudley Do-Right wrong fucking colors. So she's always taking care of me, and doing booking, and doing my billing, and being my comptroller.
Right.
We talked upstairs about her buying me a car. She's taken care of the financial end of my life my whole time, my whole career, my whole life.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I
amazing.
never go to sleep worrying about money, because I have no clue. Somebody said, "How much is your house payment?" I said, "I don't know." They're like, "What do you mean?" I said, I don't know. I don't know how much it is. I don't know where it is, and I don't know when it's due.
Right.
And they're like, "How do you live like that?" I said, I don't ever worry about money. Sharon has to juggle. We had 3 kids in college.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman was juggling cash left and right, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and Paul, went chapter 12, and then we had to go to court.
So she's doing all the heavy lifting. You're up there doing.
I'm
fart
up there
jokes.
just doing.
Yeah.
And while I'm up doing fart jokes, she's setting up. She would set up my merch and then handle all the money. I said, "I'm not allowed to touch the money due to a court order." Although, she looked 12. That's all I'm saying.
She's probably writing down, okay, this is the diet that Norm has to eat for him to continue to have fart jokes.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Beats, lots of beats.
Exactly.
Yeah. Toughest rooms, man. Let's talk about what were some of the toughest clubs that you played when you were out there on the road? Some of the places maybe even that you...
More the bar gigs that are more of a challenge.
Sure.
Okay, when you get up on the stage and the spotlight that used to cover the corner stage has not been replaced with one that covers the stage. They just aimed it this way, so this side of your face is lit, and that half of the room is not seeing you.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's always good, and... So that was challenging, But again, I go back to if you have sound and lighting, if you have the proper tech crew that can get you going. Yeah. I can remember a gig years ago with Mike Green was middling for me, and we were up in Bridgeport or one of those little towns, and we go in and the place is packed, and there's a mic stand and a mic, and it's not a cordless mic, and there's no cord. I said, "Mike, do you see that?" And so we went to the owner of the club, and she got out the contract and says, "Must provide mic and stand." Didn't say anything about a sound system or chords or anything else. She goes, "Should I call my karaoke guy?" I said, "I would."
Yeah.
We've got 12 minutes to showtime. These people aren't going to hear us. I would. If it was my gig, my money's guaranteed. you want to make more money, they should hear this shit.
Yeah, right.
So then, then they hooked us up with about a 6-foot cord. So I'm in the phone booth going, hey, how you guys doing? Hey, trying to do my shit, and I used the whole stage.
Yeah, right.
And I did a recording at Ridley's, and the first 2 comics just stood at the mic and told their stuff. Okay, and it's a 3-camera shoot. So I'm looking around the room and I'm thinking, man, these guys, they got their headsets down. They're not even listening to the in any direction because it's a 1-camera shoot at this point. They're just aiming at the guy. So I went to the director and I go, dude, I move. You need to warn these guys that I'm going to use this whole stage. Like, oh, thanks for telling us. So then they obviously could follow me. I filmed 2 shows, which is not cheap in 3-camera. And the second show, there was a bachelorette party. They came in with different wigs on, completely fucked up. Completely fucked up. They were taking their phones and sliding them across the stage, trying to see if I would kick them back or trip on them and shit. And I'm paying thousands of dollars trying to meld, 2 shots together, 2 shows together, and the second show was just useless.
Bachelorette parties suck.
They're the worst.
They're the worst kind of show, man.
I threw a whole bachelorette party out once.
Yeah?
I don't blame you.
They fucked with the opener and they messed with the middle, and I went up on stage, and I'm up on stage about 5 minutes, and Ice Cube comes out of the dark and hits me. I go, bitch, did you throw ice cubes at me? I don't think you're funny. I go, you know what? I feel sorry for the guy. I don't care how good of a fuck you are. Get out. And I just went off on this lady. And there was a table of probably 12 or 15, and the management came in and threw them out. I said, anybody want a better seat? The asses smell like those guys, so don't lick them. So people came in, and then we filled it in. Right through the whole thing out.
Man.
But these people, when I was shooting a show, they all had on different wigs. They looked like Skittles in the shot. So it was fucked up.
Man, I don't even know if I've ever heard of a positive bachelorette party comedy story. They always just end in disaster.
Yeah, it's not the best for comedy.
Yeah, it's just
unless you can do 20 minutes on. Yeah, and this girl was just yelling at me the whole way out. And,
make fun of her. I don't fucking know her.
On the way home, I get Sharon. You didn't have to be that mean, sweetheart. You get up there.
Yeah.
I used to do a shot of Jack, and I would take a bottle of Bud Light. Bud Light, yeah, whatever it was. Because I did a story about the ski bit story had, Budweiser. I did the 2 things, marijuana and Bud made me do it or whatever. So I always had one. Well, the first time my wife came to a show, 20 years into my career, she sees me, and every club knew what I wanted. They just had it set up. I'd walk by the stage, do a shot, take the beer, take a sip, and go to work. First time I did it, she goes, you don't need that. You don't need to have a drink. I go, well, you go up in front of 500 people and see how. She goes, I know, but you're funny enough, you don't need a fucking drink. So that's when I stopped doing it, and she was right. I only got drunk on stage once. My son was at Michigan State University, and he brought his entire life there on campus.
Wow.
Okay, so I made an agreement with the owner, Craig Stevens. I said, Wednesday night he wants to bring his. He was a gymnast. He went there on gymnastics scholarship. And so he's got the whole athletic world, you know what I mean? He was friends with everybody. And I said, Frank says, just bring whoever you want and tell him it's under Stulz and you'll be fine. And he called me the day of the show. He goes, I got 60 people. So I call Frank. I go, Frank, it's 60 people. He goes, Norm, I seat 400. On Wednesday, I get about 150. He goes, unless he brings more than 350 people, don't fucking bother me again. Okay. So I tell him whatever you want. So he comes, and he's got 80 people. They get in free, but my son knows the rule is if you get in free, you pitch $5 into the pot for the tip. So I have held the record for the guy on stage that the tips were the most. Nice. Because this girl, one of the waitresses comes over and she's like, man, I got a whole bunch of kids, they're drinking pop, they're fucking students and blah, blah. She's bitching. I go, you're going to be all right. So they had two or three people. It was 80 people. It was a whole 2 sections. And they left all this money. And they're like, oh, that's my son. And the next time he came with 12 people, somebody sent me a shot, and I drank it, and then we started doing shots. And my son's like, I have never seen him that fucked up. Ever.
That's funny.
I sat in the back of the room one night, and I was so sick of my show, I turned to the owner and I go, I'm so sick of my show. I'm going to do somebody else's show. Do you know Steve Iott? Have you met Steve Iott? Steve Iott is another Michigan legend.
I know the name.
He's another Michigan legend. And I said, I'm going to do Steve Iott's act. He goes, I don't care. So I go up and I go, yeah, come over here, and that's how he talks. He's got a voice, he's got a gravelly voice. What happened was, I was late. I was almost late. I hit a deer. I don't know if you people ever hit a deer. I hit a deer. That's what happened, and it was a lawn deer. It woke me up before I hit the house. So it was good. So the material is funny. So everybody's laughing, and my son's sitting there going, what the fuck is he doing? He knows my show. And I did about 15 minutes. And the wait staff went up to the owner and went, hey, Norm's doing Steve Iott's routine. And the owner goes, no, that's Norm's stuff, because he's fucking with us other people. But I did it. But I got so drunk that time, and that was the last time I got drunk on stage, because it really doesn't work well for me. I got through the show. The audience didn't know, but I knew. And I'm a lightweight, 2 or 3 shots of anything, and I'm blown away. So now I haven't had drink in years. I've stopped drinking completely. It wasn't healthy for me. Then I got cancer. I'm thinking, fuck, I should have just drank.
Yeah, just fucking threw caution to the wind and did it while you can. Yeah, I've never gotten drunk before on stage because I know how I am when I drink, and it's like I'm hard enough to understand as it is. So one beer, and then I'll have a beer afterwards and relax. But yeah, I've seen some guys go on stage and they're like, so let me tell you about this girl, and I'm like, oh God.
And in their brain, it's killing. But oh man, I apologize. That's probably an agent looking for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I have gotten a lot of offers, but what I like in my show is to be able to not talk, and that silence, unlike if your phone goes off, that silence is way more satisfying than laughter even. Where you can hold an audience of any size, 40 to 500, with just a look, and to do that, and to do a take, and to make a face, and to get laughter over and over again without verbalization.
Yeah,
that goes back to Red Skelton and Jonathan Winters and the people I grew up with that can mimic or make that story fly. With that. Did you see Coda? Children of Deaf Adults. It's an amazing story about a young woman who was the only hearing one in her family, and she sang, but her family couldn't understand what that meant. Why would that bring you joy? It's just night. Night. No, well, she did it good. But the thing is, when she started to sing the song and sign it, then the whole movie filled in. So the ability to communicate with either people that can't hear. And I was fortunate enough at Mike Green's One Night Stands. It's at One Night Stands in Waterford, Michigan. They brought someone from the American Sign Language, the ASL, to come and sign my show.
Oh wow!
And we sold it out, and we didn't think through a few things. Like people started showing up, going, and we're like, hey, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Where do I sit? Where's the bathrooms? Things that we didn't have an interpreter there to do normal. We didn't have
wait staff taking orders.
Wait staff. But they worked it out. They wrote it out. It all worked out great. And this guy came on stage, and by the time he was done with my hour, it looked like someone had put him on. He was absolutely exhausted.
I mean, I wonder how does he keep up with that? Just kind of going crazy?
He just follows because I work very quickly. And then when they left, this is applause.
Right. That's the applause.
This is applause, cool. And it's really neat to hear laughter and see this at the same time. So I was honored to do that.
That is very cool. That's a very, very unique experience. I mean,
I used to do a story about canoeing, the canoe trip. And it had to do with getting high for the first time and going to the river and meeting 150 hearing impaired. They were there at the same time at Cripple Creek. Okay, and they did not have the same breakfast. So, and then I realized it was hearing impaired. One guy jumped on a rock and he started shouting orders. He started running around doing shit, and I said, "Steve, I got to get out of here." But anyhow, it was the hearing impaired. They argue,
Yeah, right.
The guy looks back and they're bitching back and forth. It was just like another, couple in a canoe trying to kill each other. Yeah. That's why she made me leave the guns home. But anyhow,
Norm. So, dude.
Yeah.
Being a lifelong comedian, and you were a comedian before your kids were born, so they were born into this.
Yes.
Any of them have any interest in show business, interest in comedy? Not
that was quick.
But they're all educators.
Oh, wow.
Each one stands in front of a group of students and performs to allow them, and what it's done for them that I've seen in their careers, and they all get amazing write-ups and stuff. Their reviews are great. And my daughter teaches 4th grade. My son teaches science in what used to be called a parochial school or a special school, but he teaches anatomy, physiology, and forensics to people that are pre-nursing, pre-med. These are students that want to come, okay? The problem is trying to teach biology to a kid that's going to be a welder. He doesn't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
You know, if I cut my finger off, I know that. That's all he needs to know about his body. So each of them, and then my middle son, Christopher, is Dr. Stulz. He has a PhD, and he teaches environmental biology all the way up through graduate genetics.
Man.
So the kid's a genius. Had nothing to do with me. The mailman was smart, and I questioned my wife. One of my kids don't look like me, and that's okay. But they're all in front of people every day. And performance is a part of it. Christopher uses a little more humor. Norm does.
Right.
But they also use shit that we gathered. You know, if you're teaching biology and you have a picture of yourself, you know, in Grand Cayman with a giant stingray, you know, and that's coming up to you, they use that to teach with, and that's something I gave them because I was working in Grand Cayman.
Yeah.
Okay. The side effect of getting to a point where you can travel is. Kids traveled with us. We spent a whole summer looking for the best go-karts in the country.
Wow.
We found them in Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay, I was going to ask you, where are the best go-karts in the
country? Mile and a
country?
half track, banked. You know, it was an amazing experience. But we'd be driving, you know, going 80 miles an hour, and somebody would go, go-karts in 5 miles, where most dads go, yeah, we're going to the shore, I only got a week off now. We'd be like, all right, fuck, let's go see what they are. And we would each buy tickets, do a couple laps, and then we'd keep track of, you know, speed and duration and track
that's really
itself.
cool, man. Yeah,
and we fucked around doing that. Well, I can remember my son Norm at probably 12 years of age in a full-size van, sitting on the console over the motor, whatever's here, and driving with his left hand while I sat back and relaxed. And we went from New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey, to Buffalo, New York. So all the way up the expressway, I got the cruise control on 180. I got a 12-year-old guiding the missile. In the far back, we took the seats out and we had a big mattress. I had a television set up with a DVD player. Actually, it was probably a tapes. It was back tapes, a VHS tapes, and then a converter so I could get the power to it. None of it was held down. If we got in a wreck, the fucking TV would have took my head off at 100 miles an hour. But man, that's how we did it, and we had a riot. You know, we'd walk into a hotel room, and my oldest son Norm would go over to the walk-in closet, open it up, and go, "This is me." Roll the shit down, and then he'd close it up at night, and that's where he slept.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm drifting off.
No, this is great, man. This is
But all of my
great.
kids they're all gypsies now. They all travel.
Okay.
They all travel. They all realize that there's so much life out there.
Yeah.
You know, and my son out in Arizona, he lives in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, and I talked to my 5-year-old granddaughter. I'm going out there for Halloween. We're driving to Florida. 4 days later, we're flying out to Flagstaff to spend 10 days. We're going to spend Halloween this time.
Oh,
Grandpa, will you play dress up? I go, yeah. Are you kidding? Will you wear a tail? Yeah. You want me to be a dragon? Or what do you want me to be, man? She goes, well, we might be the Minions. 5 of us as Minions, which would be cool. Or we're going to go as the group from The Wizard of Oz. And I'm the Tin Man, and my wife's going to be put him up. She'll be the Cowardly Lion. And we're all going to just dress up and go. Because, you know, with my diagnosis of the stage 4 esophageal cancer, it's inoperable. It's treatable, but it's not curable. And I know it's going to kill me. So what I'm going to do is fill my life up with as much fun as I can have.
Man, absolutely.
People have said, well, how did you get there? I go, I've always been there.
Yeah.
I've always been at the level of trying to enjoy every day.
Yeah.
The little pieces. And I don't have bad days anymore. I don't have shitty days. I have bad minutes. I'll have a shitty minute or two and I'll go, you know what? Fuck it.
Behind you.
Man,
and hopefully not everybody has to get to the point where, you know, you receive a diagnosis that sets you on your ass. Yeah. Not only me, my whole family. It affected everybody that I know. Right. But if you could get to the point in your life mentally where you go, you know what? Today is a great day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be every day that you get paid. It's not going to be every day that things go completely shitty. But somewhere in between, you know, ride that high when you're up.
Yeah, see, it's stuff like this I need to hear, man, you know, because sometimes I can, you know...
Get down that rabbit hole, man.
Just really let it take me down, and then, you know, and then I'm sitting there and just everything sucks and it's the fucking worst, and then here, you know, you got a sentence like that, and you're fucking living your life, and I'm down here just, you know, in the shit, you know.
No, you're not in the
it's
shit.
amazing.
You're so far ahead of the rest of the globe too. Okay, we look at ourselves and thinking that I'm going to compare myself to everybody here in America. Okay, there's people living in huts and and homeless and so many. You're so far ahead. You're talking about selling a house. There's a bunch of people that don't have a fucking house.
Yeah,
I mean, a whole bunch of people.
It's my mindset.
Yeah, your brain's like, God damn it, I got to show the house. I got to do this. Well, other people are like, motherfucker, I'd love to have a house. I would love to have a home.
Yeah.
Or another one.
Right.
Isn't it incredible how going through something terrible can make you realize just how great life is?
Yeah.
That's so crazy how that works.
And how strong you can be.
Sure.
And what and just you got to set your mind to go do it.
Yeah.
You got to get through it, and that's what the Army does. All my friends that are in Special Forces, that were in Vietnam. I've got SEAL Team 1 friends. I mean, I'm old and I have friends from all over the country, and these guys are like they're a cut above because they have that mental discipline. They know that I have to go 12 clicks, period. Yeah. And you just go. If it's raining, if it's muddy, if it's whatever it is, and we do that as entertainers, as comics. I've been sideways in storms, getting to I've had guys where I'm going 85 miles an hour and they go zoom, flying by me, and I say to myself, I'm not that late. I've been that late.
Yeah.
I've been that guy going 116 miles an hour to get to gigs, okay, because whatever. So I don't judge that. That's not an asshole. It's a guy that's late.
Yeah.
I don't know if his mom's dying. I don't have any fucking idea.
Right.
Now, he didn't hit me. I hope he doesn't hit anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you just appreciate everybody for what they are and who they are and who they sleep with and what they want to be called. No, and what they want to be called.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm an old man and I'm happy with it.
Wise words right there. Seriously, man. Wise words to live by.
Yeah.
Comedy, it's a trip, and it can be crazy. There can be a lot of unpredictability that goes with that.
Of course. Here's what I'll try and set this up quickly because this is a 5-hour interview. So
we can go with this for a while.
No, it's all good.
Very
I got no problems. I helped a friend move up to Clare.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm coming back, and I'm in a borrowed car because my car's in the shop. I'm in a Opel GT, which looked like a little mini Corvette. They were pretty cool. Had no starter. The starter broke, so you had to push start it. You get it rolling, you jump in, pop the clutch, and a lot of us could do that. So I'm driving home, and I want to buy another handgun. Okay, I own a few weapons, and I'm okay with it. So I at the time, you needed a permit to purchase a handgun. You had to actually get a permit. So I went into the police station, and he goes, "Hey, Norm, how's it going?" "Good, I want to get another permit to purchase. Here's my concealed weapons permit, and here's my driver's license." Punch the computer. He goes, "So how's it going?" "Good." "Did you work this weekend?" "Yeah, I did Saturday, but today it was a Sunday. I had to work. To help this guy." And he goes, "Mr. Stulz?" I go, "What happened to Norm?" He goes, "Well, Mr. Stulz, I have a warrant for your arrest." I go, "You do not." He goes, "No, I do." I said, "That can't be. He's out of Traverse City." I said, "I've had one ticket in Traverse City. It was 5 years ago, and I paid it." He goes, "Well, I'm going to check right now and see if it's liable." He comes back. "Yeah." He goes, "I have a warrant for your arrest." I go, "Okay. Now what do we do?" He goes, "Well, you need to make bail. Bail's $200, and I'll take 10%. You need $20. And I look at my wallet, I got $8 left.
No,
So I can I borrow your phone? He goes, "Yeah." So I call my wife Sharon, who's 2 blocks away. This is the Holly Police Department. Okay. She's 2 blocks away. I call her up. "Sharon, yeah, can you bring me $20? And honestly, got the police station. "No, I'm not kidding. I'm at the police station." "No, I've been arrested." "Yeah." "No, I'm not shitting you. I've been arrested. I need. No, it was out of Traverse City. We'll get it fixed. But right now, I need $20 so I don't go to jail. I'll do the dishes for a month." Yeah. Okay, you can be on top. I don't. Okay, just bring me the $20. Good. So I hang up and I go, "She's on her way." And I go, "Now what do we do?" And the officer goes, "We just wait." I go, "Well, can you at least show me your jail?" He goes, "Yeah, come on back." So we go back because he knew me from stage. He just had to arrest me. Comes back and he goes, "This is where we do fingerprints, and over here's our holding cell," and he shows me all this beautiful shit around. So I took a guided tour of the jail. I didn't really go in the jail.
Right.
But technically, I was arrested.
You were pseudo-arrested.
I was arrested.
You were a wanted man.
Sharon gives them $20. I go, "Okay, I'll call, and I'll get this straightened out. I'll get my money back." So I call Traverse City, and they go, "Well, the girl that does that is on vacation." I go, "You got one person?" And this has been years ago. She goes, "I know, we're putting them in the new computer systems, all the other bullshit that we went through when I was your age and they were trying to get computers working. Yeah. Shit would fall through." Well, my ticket fell through the cracks, and even though it was paid, and so they said, "Don't worry about it. We'll fix it." It's okay. A couple days later, I get a thing from the state of Michigan that says your license has been revoked due to this. No, I got to call the state. Fucking all the state. Fucking all this. So finally, I called Traverse City back, and I'm like, "Hey, I just got. I'm pissed." And they go, "Hold on a second." This guy gets on the phone. He goes, "Mr. Stulz." I go, "Yeah. Who are you?" He goes, "I'm the magistrate." I said, "Is that important?" He goes, "I'm the judge, kid." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know what a magistrate was.
Right.
I learned. But yeah, so technically I've been arrested once. If you look at my driver's license, it was revoked. And it had nothing to do with me. It had to do with Margaret, who was on vacation, who fucked up 5 years ago.
Come on, Maggie, what are you doing?
All right, so that's it. I've been arrested.
All right.
And how many people that have been arrested have had a guided tour of the fucking jail?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Jeez.
That is
Okay,
incredible,
cool.
man. That is awesome.
That's just another day.
Yeah. See, we get the bad boys on the show right
It's
here.
just
The
another
criminals.
day. Come on, if you live long enough, you're going to find police at your door.
Yeah, there was, I heard a story about some 98-year-old woman who had never been arrested, and that was on her bucket list. So
She might get arrested.
Yeah, so they arrested her. I don't know for what, but if I was her, I would have committed an actual
Indecent
crime.
exposure. She probably flashed him from here.
Oh,
What else you got, Stevie?
I think we've run through all of
And it was,
all of the
I
questions,
hope
man.
some of it sticks to the tape.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
I don't know how it's
By the
gonna
way,
use it all.
Zay finally came here. He had diarrhea or something. We have no idea, but yeah, he finally came
down
here.
the freeway trying to get here.
Yeah, he was doing 100. He was that guy going.
Exactly, yeah. So
I averaged probably 80 miles an hour getting here from Houghton Lake.
Yeah.
It was about 2.5 hours.
Oh,
So it's a
shit.
5-hour round trip to.
Well,
come down and say hi.
thank
Yeah.
you
well,
for
yeah, dude.
coming out.
Thank you so
Really
much, man.
appreciate
I
it.
mean,
It's my
seriously, this has
pleasure.
been this has been incredible because just the way that you can jump in and flow in the conversation, man. Like you said, it's super interesting.
Yeah,
to
like
hear
a
all this.
regular guy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And people have also said, do you have to be quiet? I respect other entertainers. I know some that need to be in their own head, for 5 minutes
Yeah.
before they go out to the
Oh,
lights,
yeah.
and so I could be doing this as they're doing my credits or whatever, and then just go to work, because that's
Yeah.
work.
That's
and
incredible,
this is,
man.
This is me.
Well, again,
So I appreciate it.
dude, thank you so much.
Thanks,
I would
man.
love to have you back on.
No,
too,
it's my
man.
pleasure. I'd
Thanks,
be
you
glad
know.
to come back.
Get a donut to go or 3 or 4. Even though I got assorted donuts and the fucking lady gave me all chocolate ones. It was, they're good, but still. It's,
Did you possibly say can I get assorted chocolate ones? Were you high at the time?
it was fuzzy. I was like, it's weird. Like, can I put?
When I left my Florida oncologist and the chemotherapy there, and they're amazing people that take care of you. And I go to University of Michigan, but at Henry Ford, everybody I've ever met in healthcare really works hard to make us better people. But when I was down there, you couldn't have a visitor. At least at U of M, Sharon can come with me and spend those hours, because I would have 2 drugs that were 2-hour drips with 20 minutes of flush before and after, and then another 30 up front, another 15 back, and then I would take a side pack of 5-fluorouracil, 5-FU. Sounds right for chemo. And that would be 2 more days, and then I would disconnect it at home. So when I got into this whole fucking chemo thing, it was the people that made the difference. And I have tried to be one of those people my whole life.
No, I think you're doing a hell of a job, Norm.
Thanks, man.
Again,
Thanks.
absolutely
See you later.
fantastic.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you guys so much
Thanks
for
for having me
watching.
out.
And again, it may be for a while, but this will not be the last time you see Steve. I'm sure
luck, man.
when
I'll be
he's in
back.
town, he'll
I
be
will
back.
be back. Just
Yeah.
got to get set up.
He will be
Gotta
back.
get set
Yeah.
up into a new place.
It's not goodbye. It's I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Again, everyone, thank you for watching. Check out our channel on YouTube and all that good shit. Take
Yeah.
care.
Bye.
And the time was now.